Good day, everyone. Dear students, welcome to the session Classification and Description of English Consonant Sounds. I am Dr.K.Anuradha, Assistant Professor, Department of English, Sita Lakshmi Ramaswamy College, Tiruchirappalli 2. There are 6 criteria that are involved in classification and description of English consonant sounds. They are: number 1, the airstream mechanism involved; number 2, the state of the glottis; number 3, the position of the soft palate; number 4 and 5, the active and the passive articulators; number 6, the stricture involved. An airstream means moving current of air. There are 3 types of airstream mechanism. They are pulmonic airstream, glottalic and velaric airstream. Pulmonic means lungs, glottalic refers to glottis, and velaric is nothing but velum or soft palate. When we articulate any speech sound from English, the air from our lungs goes out into the outer atmosphere either through our mouth or through our nostrils. For the production of any speech sounds in English, we use the air we breathe out, which is called the respiratory lung air. An airstream that uses the air from the lungs is called pulmonic airstream. And for the articulation of most speech sounds of most languages of the world, use pulmonic aggressive airstream mechanism. The second one is the states of the glottis. The glottis is the space between the vocal cords when they are drawn far from each other. The expression states of the glottis refers to the different position of vocal cords. According to the 2 different states of the glottis, speech sounds are divided into 2 categories. They are voiceless sounds and voiced sounds. Let me explain the voiceless sounds and voiced sounds. The vocal cords are drawn far away from each other and therefore the glottis is wide open. The sounds that are produced with the wide open glottis are called voiceless sounds or breathed sounds. The vocal cords are brought so close to each other and kept loosely together, and so they vibrate. The sounds that are produced when the vocal cords vibrate are called voiced sounds. And there is another expression which is called a glottal stop, in which the vocal cords are brought so close to each other that they touch each other, and thus the glottis is closed completely. The air we breathe out gets imprisoned behind the closed glottis. When the vocal cords are separated suddenly and quickly, the air from the lungs rushes out with a slight explosive noise like a gentle cough. This speech sound is called the glottal stop, and we don't have glottal stop in English. The third one is the position of the soft palate. The soft palate, otherwise called velum, can be moved up and moved down. When the soft palate is moved up, it touches the back wall of the pharynx. When it is moved down, it comes away from the back wall of the pharynx. In other words, when the soft palate is moved up, the nasal cavity is closed. When the soft palate is moved down, the nasal cavity is opened. The oral sounds are produced when the soft palate is raised, and so the nasal cavity is closed completely. Oral sounds are p, t, k, ch, f, t, s, sh, h, b, d, g, j, v, d, z, zh, v, r, l, and y. Nasal sounds are produced when the soft palate is lowered, so the nasal cavity is opened. The oral passage is closed completely. The nasal sounds are m, n, and in. There are 21 oral sounds and 3 nasal sounds. Based on the fourth and fifth criteria, that is active and passive articulators, we are going to see the place of articulation. Number 1, bilabial, in which the two lips are the primary articulators. Example, p, b, m and v. Next one is labiodental, in which the lower lip articulates with the upper teeth. The lower lip is the active articulator and the upper teeth is the passive articulator. Dental, the tip of the tongue and rims of the tongue articulate with the upper teeth. Example, the and the. In alveolar, tip and blade of the tongue articulate with the alveolar ridge, in which tip and blade of the tongue is the active articulator and the alveolar ridge is the passive articulator. Next comes post-alveolar, in which the tip or the rims of the tongue articulate with the rear part of the alveolar ridge. Example, r. During the production of the speech sound sh, zh, ch and j, the tip or blade of the tongue articulate with the alveolar ridge, and there is at the same time a raising of the front part of the tongue towards the hard palate. Sounds produced in this place are called palato-alveolar. During the production of the speech sound ear, the front part of the tongue articulates with the hard palate. So it is called palatal. In the production of k, g and ing, the back part of the tongue articulates with the soft palate. So it is called velar sound. An obstruction but not vibration between the vocal cords happen when we produce the speech sound h. So it is called glottal sound. Number 1, complete closure and sudden release. A complete closure at some point in the vocal tract behind which the air pressure builds up and can be released explosively. Sounds produced in complete closure and sudden release are called plosives. They are p, b, t, d, k and g. Next one is complete closure and slow release. Sounds produced in complete closure and slow release strictures are called affricates. While producing ch and j, a complete closure at some point in the mouth behind which the air pressure builds up. The separation of the organs is slow compared with that of a plosive, so that friction is a characteristic second element of the sound. Speech sounds produced in the stricture of complete oral closure are called nasals. In the production of the speech sound ma, na and ing, a complete oral closure at some point in the mouth, but the soft palate being lowered, the air escapes only through the nose. So they are called nasals. In the production of the speech sounds f, v, sh, zh, s, z, t, d and h, the active and the passive articulators approximate to such an extent that the air stream passes through them with friction. So they are called fricatives. In the production of the speech sound v and y, which are called semi-vowels and frictionless continuants, when they are produced, they are usually included in the consonantal category on functional grounds. But from the point of view of phonetic description, they are more properly treated as vowel glides. In the production of the speech sound r, a series of rapid intermittent closures or taps made by the tip of the tongue against the alveolar ridge and the manner in which it is articulated is called roll or trill. In the stricture, quick closure and release, the active articulator strikes against the passive articulator just once. Such sounds are called taps or flaps, and the manner in which it is articulated is called taps or flaps. In partial closure, a partial closure is made at some point in the mouth, and in the articulation of the sound la, the air stream is allowed to escape on one side or both sides of the tongue. Dear students, I hope you have understood the classification and description of English consonant sounds under 6 criteria. The airstream mechanism is just pulmonic airstream mechanism. The states of the glottis include voiceless and voiced sounds. The position of the soft palate is all about oral and nasal sounds. The active and the passive articulators involve the place of articulation, and the strictures involve decide the manner of articulation. Dear students, thank you for your patient listening. Thank you everyone.